The issue of healthcare in South Africa has long been a point of contention, with numerous policies, debates, and initiatives attempting to address the deep inequalities in the system. The most recent and perhaps most significant initiative in this area is the National Health Insurance (NHI) policy, which has generated both considerable support and strong opposition. At the heart of the debate are two central figures, Premier Panyaza Lesufi of Gauteng and Helen Zille, the federal chairperson of the Democratic Alliance, DA. Their opposing stances on the NHI reflect not only their personal views but also the broader political divide in South Africa regarding how to address healthcare inequality and the future of the country's healthcare system. The journey toward universal healthcare in South Africa is deeply rooted in the country's history. Under apartheid, healthcare access was severely segregated, with the white population enjoying access to high-quality healthcare services, while black South Africans were left with inadequate and often substandard medical care. The end of apartheid in 1994 brought about a new era of democratic rule, with the African National Congress, ANC, assuming leadership. One of the key goals of the post-apartheid government was to redress the profound inequalities in all aspects of society, including healthcare. Over the years, several measures were put in place to attempt to achieve more equitable healthcare, but despite these efforts, the country's healthcare system remains deeply divided, with vast disparities between the public and private sectors. The proposal for a national health insurance scheme, which aims to provide universal health coverage to all South Africans, is seen by the ANC as a solution to these deep-rooted inequalities. The NHI is designed to ensure that every citizen, regardless of their financial status, has access to quality healthcare services. Premier Panyaza Lesufi, as one of the key proponents of the NHI, has emphasized its importance in addressing the historical injustices faced by the majority of South Africans who have been excluded from quality healthcare. Lesufi, representing the ANC's stance on this issue, strongly believes that the NHI is a necessary step toward achieving social justice, equality, and fairness in South Africa's healthcare system. He sees the NHI not just as a policy, but as a means to right the wrongs of the past and to provide equitable access to healthcare services for all South Africans, irrespective of their income, background, or social status. In Lesufi's view, the NHI is about ensuring that everyone, from the wealthiest individuals to the poorest, receives the same standard of care when they need it most. However, despite the strong backing from the ANC, the NHI has faced fierce opposition from political rivals, particularly from the Democratic Alliance, DA. The DA has expressed significant concerns about the affordability and feasibility of the NHI, arguing that the policy could place an unbearable financial burden on South African taxpayers. According to DA critics like Helen Zille, the NHI could lead to the collapse of the public healthcare system, which is already struggling to meet the needs of the population. Zille and other members of the DA have raised alarms about the potential for long waiting times, reduced quality of care, and the diversion of resources from essential services to fund the NHI. The DA also warns that the NHI could lead to increased corruption and inefficiency within the healthcare sector, with the government potentially mismanaging the funds allocated for healthcare services. The DA's stance on the NHI centers around concerns about sustainability. Zille has argued that the policy would be financially unsustainable, requiring vast amounts of money that the South African government does not have. She has suggested that rather than implementing the NHI, the government should focus on improving the existing healthcare system by increasing efficiency, cutting down on waste, and ensuring that public healthcare services are adequately funded. Zille and the DA have also emphasized that the private healthcare sector in South Africa is one of the most developed in Africa, and they argue that rather than moving toward a fully government-run system, South Africa should work to strengthen its private-public healthcare partnership to ensure better outcomes for all citizens. This clash between the ANC and the DA has sparked a wider debate about the role of the government in providing healthcare and the best way to achieve healthcare equity in South Africa. The ANC views the NHI as a moral and social imperative, arguing that healthcare should be a right, not a privilege. The DA, on the other hand, sees the NHI as a poorly conceived policy that could lead to economic ruin and worsen the very issues it seeks to address. These differing viewpoints highlight the ideological divide between the two parties, with the ANC advocating for a more interventionist, redistributive approach to healthcare and the DA advocating for a more market-driven, efficiency-oriented model. In the context of this national debate, Premier Panyaza Lesufi has been particularly vocal in his defense of the NHI. Lesufi, who serves as the Premier of Gauteng, one of South Africa's most populous provinces, has been at the forefront of advocating for policies that address social inequality and provide greater opportunities for the disadvantaged. For Lesufi, the NHI is a vital policy for achieving the ANC's broader goals of economic and social transformation. He has consistently dismissed opposition from the DA and other critics, insisting that the NHI is necessary for addressing the systemic inequalities in South Africa's healthcare system. Lesufi has argued that the current system, which is heavily reliant on private healthcare, is inherently unfair and benefits only a small portion of the population. By pushing for the NHI, Lesufi is trying to shift the system toward one that prioritizes the needs of the majority, particularly the poor and marginalized communities. Lesufi has also criticized the DA for what he perceives as fear-mongering tactics. He has accused the opposition of spreading misinformation and exaggerating the negative consequences of the NHI in order to protect the interests of the wealthy. Lesufi believes that the DA's opposition to the NHI is rooted in a desire to maintain the status quo, which he views as inequitable and unjust. He has pointed out that the DA's policies tend to favor the privileged few, and that their opposition to the NHI is an attempt to preserve the divide between the public and private healthcare sectors. In response to Lesufi's statements, Helen Zille and the DA have doubled down on their criticisms of the NHI. Zille has questioned the government's ability to manage such a large-scale policy, given the inefficiencies and corruption that have plagued South Africa's public sector in the past. What do you think about the National Health Insurance, NHI? Do you believe it will improve healthcare access for all South Africans, or do you share the concerns raised by the DA about its feasibility? Should the government push forward with the NHI despite the opposition from the DA, or is it time to reconsider the approach? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more in-depth analysis on this and other important issues. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to us.